I am joined today with a Australian boy named Zein. What do you know about my sign? So I'm an Aquarius.
You're very giving and like all that type of stuff. However, the one thing that I'm like astounded by your kind.
I don't know why you're here today, but you're here with tarot cards.
Okay, and then with your left hand, I guess, just cut the deck. There's someone keeping tabs on you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Not in a creepy way. So this person is like watching you like on socials. Do you know what I mean? Like you're on their radar, but they're not on your radar.
Where are you? Let's go.
So I mean, there's going to be an opportunity arising that is really going to catapult the success of yours. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the energy attached to it is interesting because, yes, it's going to be super amazing, right? And I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I think, you'd be stupid not to do it. But it's a lot of caution because
you're listening to the X Podcast. The X you keep coming back to.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the X Podcast. Before I start this episode, be sure to like, follow, subscribe. I am also on Snapchat, so if you don't have time to watch the full episode, I do put 8-minute videos out for you guys to watch the best scenes, so be sure to follow me there as well. I am joined today with a Australian boy named Zein.
hello. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I don't know why you're here today, but you're here with tarot cards.
I am here. We're ready. This is far from our usual, but we'll do it.
Wait, before we get into that, we met through a friend.
Yes.
And it's so funny. We're like recently friends.
Yes.
And I put on my story looking for someone to do tarot reading. And
Yeah.
you're like, I do it. And I'm like, oh my God, what are the odds?
Literally last night. It was like
Literally last night, and here we are today.
Yeah, I was at the ski slopes and I was like, I'll do it. And you're like, tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, sure. And here we are.
We did not call each other before we matched our outfits. So
No, this was not coordinated.
This was not coordinated.
This is, just
How
we're
are
just
you?
in sync.
Yeah. How are you liking Montreal?
I like it.
Yeah?
It's very different to back home. I mean, the snow is foreign, but
Yeah.
it's nice. It's like I genuinely enjoy it, and people keep telling me summer's obviously better. So,
So you're like, I'm waiting on that.
yeah, because it's like seasonal depression doesn't really hit me because I'm only been here for like one winter season.
Yeah, you're not like all of us who's just like, we can't see snow anymore. We're depressed. Like, our
Exactly.
vacations only happen when we get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. People run away from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I get it. The sun not being here, like barely showing face, is very different.
And it has like an effect on your mood, honestly.
Yeah.
Like even when it's winter and there's a bit of sun, we're all in a better mood.
100%.
Like,
Like
it's
when
just-
the sun's out, it's like still -7, -8. You're like,
know.
what do I do with my life?
So you lived in Australia your whole life?
Yeah,
And what brought you here?
a job offer.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're
And
like
then-
pending, but
Stop. Let's just say we're in between jobs.
stop kidding. We'll take that out.
No,
We'll
you
take
can keep it on. It's like, okay. Pending. I mean, you're not wrong, are you? But I guess I'm treating it like a holiday. Let's just say going with the flow.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you have no choice, you figure it out. So
Yeah, well, it's either that or I go back home and I'm not really ready to go back to Oz. Like,
right.
I know it's always going to be there, but it's like, I feel like if I was to come, it's only been like 2 months. Like, if I cut it short and go back.
No, you're
I would
gonna
regret
always
it.
like think,
Look,
what if?
Yeah, like, did I give it my all?
Yeah.
It's extremely, like, different. Like, like, I'm used to being like a workaholic, like having like 2-3 jobs on the go. Like, I just
Yeah.
like that kind of, I don't know, routine and stuff like that.
For sure.
So being in between jobs for such a long period of time is like so...
You feel like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah,
And-
disheveled. I genuinely feel like I have routines. I made routine like with everything
Yeah.
else, but then like when it comes to my work life, which I've never had an issue with,
Yeah.
now it's like it's just
For sure, but I think it's all about like adapting, and you're gonna figure it all out. I
Yeah.
have no doubt about that.
yeah, I'm sure we'll be fine. Go with
Yeah.
the flow. Whatever's meant to be will be. Like,
But we know if you leave, it's because you didn't figure it out. If he goes So
if I leave, yeah, that's literally it. If you see me post and I'm in Australia, you're like, oh, this boy did not make it. Montreal got the best of him.
and if you don't make it in Montreal, it's
But I
like
don't speak French, so it's like I can't
Right.
just get like a casual job, right?
For
Like,
sure.
I've been a barista for like 8-9 years on the side as one of the side jobs in Australia, but like I can't just get a job as a barista here because my French is like not even Frenching. Like there's no French to French.
And like, what are you applying to now?
Still research positions.
Okay.
And
But there's some Canadian companies that like they work with the States and stuff, and
exactly. So I have a lead on a couple.
Okay.
But it was like they don't really advertise. It's so weird because like people think that like when you become like a research doctor or a doctor in any way, especially in such a, because I studied such a niche topic, right? You do a PhD. Well, I did my PhD in such a specific disease and specific part of it, whatever. And when you go to the job market after, you have such like a unique set of skills, but doesn't apply to most jobs.
Right.
You're adaptable. Like you can translate those skills to other things, right? But it's like also I can't apply for every research job out there because it's just I'm completely new to that. Do you know what I mean? Right. So you're always going to be jumping into something you haven't really done before. It's more so like who's willing to take you on and just kind of like, okay, let you
show you the ropes.
Exactly. But it'll be fine. Like it's just, and the job offers are not that frequent in my field. Like it's not something you're gonna go on and be like, start tomorrow. Like.
Right. And is there any way you can practice a little bit more or go back to school and do like a little...
Yeah, I've thought about it, but I did 9 years. So I think I could go back and become... So I lecture medicine, like I teach medicine, but I can't like practice it.
Yeah.
And to practice it, I would have to go back and do 4 more years of studying quote unquote medicine. Right. And then it would be nice after, like, don't get me wrong, like the pay would jump like a lot, and you know, being like a double doctor as they call it is cool, but I can't really look I'll be like encroaching like 30s, and I just don't see myself just like
continuing
being
school.
A student for like 13-14 years of my life. It's a bit enough's enough, you know.
Yeah. What are some things you say in Australia that I'd be like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Tell me a few. I watched Love Island, so I'm like very...
I haven't even watched that Love Island.
What?
Well, yeah, because like I've watched snippets of other ones, but anything in Australia I don't really watch. Like I don't know, I just like my own accent. I am like ugh. Like any Hollywood movie.
I kind of get that though. Like anything that's done here, which is not much, I'm like, why would I watch this?
Right? I'm like, I'll just stick to Hollywood and stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's so many. I guess like the more I'm staying here, the more I realize a lot of my like slang is different. Like as easily as saying like, if someone says to me like, I'm making plans with you, right? And he asks me like, I'll pick you up at 7. I can just say ease or easy. And then
easy means like perfect.
Easy means all good, sounds good, right? But it's like, what is easy? Like I'm like, what do you mean? Like the situation is easy, right?
But I feel like even if I wouldn't know it, I would understand.
Yeah,
depending.
those ones are not bad. But then like really like reckon I think is something I use a lot. Like, do you reckon? And they're like, what do you mean? What's reckon? Like,
do you agree?
Do you think? Like, what do you reckon?
What do you think?
Those type of things. Other ones, like there's some really like out there ones, which if you really live in the CBD or like anywhere like highly densely populated, you won't really hear, but there are like Australian slangs. Like you'd get some like from older.
I really want to go to Australia.
You should.
Oh my God. Like, where do you think I would like the most? Sydney?
You do an East Coast.
Okay.
Like the standard thing to do first time in Australia, like 2 weeks. You do like Sydney, Melbourne. Melbourne's my favorite city.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Melbourne's like, it is like Montreal, but an Australian version.
Okay.
Like what I mean by that is like the food scene is insane. The arts and like, you know, if you like fashion, there is the best in my opinion compared to the other cities. Think about it this way. I've been to Toronto and I've been to Montreal, and Toronto is Sydney and Montreal is Melbourne.
Oh, okay.
So just depends what your vibe is, you know what I mean? Sydney has some characters, of course, but it's like when you go as a tourist, there's not much, like you can do most of the touristy things in like 2-3 days. Like it's not, and like the annoying thing about the Sydney city is like getting around it's not as smooth as Melbourne. Like the way it's laid out is different.
Gotcha. If
you want to go out in Sydney, it's really like you have to Uber from the restaurant to wherever you're, like the bar or the club, right?
Everything is further away.
Yeah, Melbourne, it is further away, but everything you can find around each other. So if you want to go to, let's say a suburb is like Carlton, right? You go to Carlton, you can go to have a nice like Italian meal there, and then you can go to a bar or club nearby Carlton. So it makes more
Okay.
sense. Like in your 20s, early 30s. So if you ever go, just let me know.
Yeah, for
and I'll
sure.
give you like the
Well, I think how I would do it is if I go back to Dubai, I would go from Dubai
to Sydney.
it's to Sydney.
Yes.
It'd be what, like 13 hours from there?
Yeah,
10?
that's the best way to do it. And then you go like so then, but Sydney's like in between Melbourne and the Gold Coast. So if you really want like good, nice beaches, chill vibes, experience that surfers kind of like
Yeah.
lifestyle.
Do
you'd
you
wanna-
surf?
No, I've never surfed.
Never surfed.
I've got a really bad like sense of balance. like, but like,
What was your thoughts? Because I know you went skiing the other day for the first time.
let's just say it wasn't
Let's
much
just say
skiing.
I'm not good in balance with surfing and
Let's just
skiing.
say I was falling even when I was walking down the slopes without the skis on. Like, it was a wreck. Like, it was super fun. Let's just say I need to learn. It actually gets scary because like as soon as I pick up speed and I think I have,
I'm not the best skier, so
Yeah, but I feel like I'm horrid. Like all I hear is like pizza, pizza. I'm like fuck the pizza at this point. And like the hill felt like it went on forever. Like I was, it took like over an hour to get down one slope.
I would not want to be with you actually.
No, please. I almost like for some reason I always ended up on the edge. Maybe it's like an innate thing. Like my
Maybe.
subconscious telling me just go.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I guess. Okay, wait. So how did you get into tarot readings?
always been into like spiritual things.
Okay, I love that.
Not so much, and no judgment to the crystal girls, but like I'm not one to like charge my crystals and stuff.
Do you
But-
have crystals?
No, I
though?
don't. No. I genuinely love star signs because I find it fun, and then like tarot reading is like cool. I've done it. Like I've started end of 2021. Like was learning through YouTube, and then I've done a few tarot readings with like psychics, and then what started off as like doing it with friends, and then they'd always call me back and be like, what you said came true, and I was like, that's weird. And then like I've done it for friends of friends, and which I know nothing about,
Right.
and then they've contacted me after and be like, that's weird, how did you know that? Or like in the moment I had this not weird, but it was kind of like intense time where I visited Canada last year in February. Well, actually, this
Okay.
time last year I was in Montreal, and I was in Ottawa real quick to see a friend.
Okay.
And then her friend, we all went to a bar, and then her friend I just met then, and then she's like, do you have your tarot card readings? And I was like, yeah, they're in my bag, because I just put them in my tote bag and like
Right.
whip them out.
You're just that guy.
yeah.
How many drinks in are you
Stop.
in? Let's go.
No, but when someone like, that's
For
another
sure. I
story.
think it's also like an energy thing,
It
when someone is
is.
like, I want the reading, and like you
I
could tell
agree.
when the vibe is just.
Yeah, but it's like sometimes you pick up, like sometimes when I do a reading or like any tarot reader, that would do one, it's like you would do a spread and then sometimes it's not super clear on the message, right? You'd have to like clarify.
Right.
Sometimes it's so clear, like
So
crystal clear.
that's what I have a hard time with. So I was in New York
Yeah.
like a couple months ago, and I did a reading at what is it, Raoul's? Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. It's just like a steak frit place, and you grab a martini, you go
Yeah.
upstairs. While you go to the bathroom, there's
Yeah.
like a girl who's like reading cards
On the way to the bathroom.
on the way to the bathroom.
Love that.
And there was things that I was like, yeah, that makes sense, but I'm like, she's going too fast, and I'm like, okay, wait, like I need
Wait,
clarification.
she didn't let you record it or anything?
No
That's-
phones allowed, everything off.
What, so you just got to memorize everything?
Kind of,
That
yeah.
sucks. But did anything stick? Did
Well,
anything
thank
come
God I'm
true?
recording this one.
Because so you can just go back to it, but like he's a fraud.
Go back to Australia, you joke.
Stop, ship me back. I might go without you even saying it.
Well, we all know that.
Stop. Now it's like public knowledge. God.
Oh my God. But besides the cards, like, do you kind of read people without the cards?
Yeah, I would. I mean,
Okay, wait. What sign are you?
can you guess?
Um,
I love this game so much. I really know your size. I can't guess yours, but like,
I
know
want to
it.
say either a Libra or an Aries.
no.
No, I'm
Don't
so
ever-
bad with other people's signs. I'm an Aquarius. I only care about my sign.
Well, she said it here, folks.
You're not a Sagittarius.
No, I'm not a Sag. No, Libra. I've never been. I'm a Pisces. So
Okay.
like, which makes total sense. I guess cliche like spirituality and namaste.
Right.
But like reading people, I like my
Your
intuition.
intuition.
I think is top notch. I like growing up, I never used to listen to it, but now like, because I used to always like meet people and just like for some reason not like vibe with them. Do you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
weird. And like I would tell my friends, I'm like, be careful for that person. They're like, why? And then give it like a month, weeks, maybe a year, and then the true nature comes out. And I'm like, I told you, like these,
Right.
and because I would like to say because of this like like my intuition and how strong it is, like I have not had any like faulty friendships in like
Wow.
over 10 years. Like anyone that I've attracted in my circle has been a genuine human.
You're able to read them.
Just through
As the
bullshit.
friends are a bit like, hey, what do you know about me? Like, you know what I
Stop.
mean?
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
friends
yeah.
are a little bit freaked out. They're like,
I'm
hey,
great
like,
at giving advice, but
do they know what
it?
the fuck I'm thinking right now? Because
Stop.
that's the scariest thing in the world. If somebody like could kind of read your thoughts.
I was thinking like all my life, right? I was like, if you were to have one superpower, what would it be?
Probably to be able to like travel,
Teleportation?
Teleportation.
Oh, like back in time.
back in time, or
I can't go back in time. You know what they did to my kind?
oh my god.
You go,
Or
girl.
maybe just like be able to like, if I want to be in
on a-
Australia tomorrow, I don't have to do the fucking
No, you want to go
27
back.
hour
You want to
flight.
go back and wear a corset and like.
I want to just be able to choose where I want to be for the
How
day.
cool! Could you imagine like all you needed to grab a photo of a destination?
Okay,
and
what are
just-
we watching? What's that movie called?
Is it a movie?
Is it Skip?
Hollywood, can't hit me up. I feel like I just made
Literally.
this, you look at it and you just teleport there.
That would be sick. I feel like the one about reading minds,
That would be mine.
that's what you would want to know.
Yeah, because I've changed throughout my life. Like, I don't know if you ever watched X-Men. I wanted to be like Storm and like control the weather and like roll my eyes back
Oh
and be
my
dramatic. I was like,
God.
nah, that's fun, but not really like the best. Then I was like, what about being invisible? Already being invisible. And then teleportation was like up there. But then reading minds, think about it. You can be like a millionaire, like you would, but not read. There's a caveat. You have to be careful. Not. You can turn it on and off. You can't.
Okay, well-
Imagine just walking around and you're just hearing everyone's thoughts.
I think
nonstop.
sometimes not knowing people's thoughts are a good thing.
Yeah, that's why you can turn it on and off.
Right, but how do you turn it on and off when you know you have such close accessibility to it? I think you're going to get addicted to just being like, I need to
True.
know. I think
Right.
there's beauty in the unknown,
Oh, that's so poetic.
you know?
Wow.
And sometimes, like, I don't know, your intuition, all these things kind of lead you up to kind of knowing,
Yeah, I think
you know?
what you're playing on is the whole like what will be, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I had.
Do
a
you
chat-
believe that,
I
like, your
do.
path is, like, chosen, or do you think that you play a factor in?
I think like that's like fate and everything, right? I
Yeah.
think like meeting different, like there is like you can control. Well, yeah, yes and no. Let's just say that because let's say meeting someone or being at a place, I feel like that could be destined or fated. Do you know what I mean? Like you coming across like meeting a soul, like a human, right?
Right.
Friendship or not friendship doesn't have to always be romantic, but I feel like how fast it takes for you to get there is based on your own free will, right? Like
Okay.
I believe no matter what you do, you're going to end up in the same place, but how fast you get there, what you do to get there dictates the path that it takes to get there, right?
Interesting.
Like, for example, I got offered a job here last February, yeah? And then they said for me to start in August. So I finished my PhD in June and I was like, cool, like perfect. I finished one thing, I'm going to get on a flight and come here. And then I came here end of December and the job hasn't even like started and it's like mid-February.
Right.
But in this time between August and December, of which I didn't come, the job fell through 3 times. Does that make sense? So by the third time, I was honestly over it. I was like, fuck Montreal, like this is just not for me,
Yeah.
you know? So I was like, cool. And then I started applying in Europe. And I was like, okay, Netherlands, like Switzerland, like place like that. And then as soon as I started applying elsewhere, I got the email saying, we want you in Montreal. So I was like, okay, like I've taken decisions to go elsewhere, but then I've ended up back on the path that I was meant to.
Right.
And now that I'm here and the job hasn't happened, but so many other beautiful things have happened in just 2 months, I believe like that job offer was meant to get me to Montreal
Right.
for what's to come.
Right.
So so the fate was the job was just to get me here. And now that I'm here and I really want to give it a shot, I'm like open to so many possibilities.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I think. But
You have to be like open-minded. I feel like if you're negative and you're like, well, this job's not going to come through, like, why am I here still? Then you're like closed off to like new opportunities.
I think it's like what you attract, right? Like the energy you put out is what you're going to bring in.
Yeah.
So I guess.
Okay, so what do you know about my sign? So I'm an Aquarius.
Yeah.
What do you know about, or do you, I don't know how this works. Do you want to like read, do the tarot reading first?
Do you want me to talk about your sign?
Yes, talk about my sign.
My experience with an Aquarius, I've got lots. Like my mom's an Aquarius, my sister's an Aquarius, my brother's an Aquarius. You guys are just people. No, I think the one word that describes you guys is individuals. No, like in the best way possible. Like I've not met two Aquarius the same. Like I'm not saying every person's the same, don't get me wrong. But like if I was to meet like, let's say a Capricorn, and then I meet another Capricorn, I can tell they're a Capricorn because they're both very like career driven and they're very into like security and money and stability and status, right? Try and get a Capricorn to show feelings is like, have fun. But that's common between them. I find that with Aquarius, I can't always guess an Aquarius is an Aquarius. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like I would be like, it's because you come as so different to the rest. You guys think so out of the box.
Yeah, that's true.
That it's like, it's super fun to get to know one because you don't know what you're getting.
Right.
You know? Aquarius are like the people who like, I don't know what the dogma or like the thoughts about like Aquarius being heartless or it's genuinely they're so sweet. I mean, you can tell me because you're an Aquarius, but like, if you actually like
We're so sweet.
No, if you genuinely care for someone like romantically, you're very romantic and you're very giving and like all that type of stuff. However, the one thing that I'm like astounded by your kind is that once you're like over someone, like you genuinely
like we don't even have it in us.
They're like died. Not even just died. It's like, who are you? That type of thing. Like I'm not like that. Like
it's so scary.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's scary.
It's like shit.
No, it's actually the most accurate thing. We will entertain something, we'll be around, like if it's something we like could think of, could be good for us or whatever. But the second we come to our realization that like this isn't for us, it's done. Like that
So
book
done.
is closed. We don't go backwards.
Yeah, but that's what I was like, because like my kind, like me, I do move on. Like it happens, right? But it's like I'm such a sentimental person that like I'm just like a typical like in my feelings type of thing. In the sense that like, let's say if I get something that reminds me of a said person, I would feel nostalgic. Like there would be emotions associated with it, but I'm like, I'm not gonna go back. But I get very sentimental and nostalgic, and I find with like my Aquarius friends, like even my family members, like when they give me advice about love and stuff, like it's so brutal. It's like
cutthroat.
No, literally, it's like, what are you doing? Cut them off, and I'm like. I was like, I can't.
No, I think we are so loving and so caring, and we're like, we have the biggest hearts. But I think it's really hard for us to see, especially with love, or if like someone comes to us and asks us for an opinion about a guy or whatever. Like if we're turned off by like a situation or like we can already feel like that this isn't it. We're going to tell you honestly.
Yeah, you guys are very honest people.
Very honest. But we can't, no, like if we feel a certain way, we're going to be like, sorry, babe, like this is what it is.
And it's like super good. Like it's great to be that way, but like you can tell how it can also come across as like savage, especially when you're trying to build a relationship, because I feel like with you guys is that if there is a whiff of something that you're not a fan of, it's so easy for you guys because you're so like good at it just to cut off and walk away, right?
Yeah.
And it's like that's in reality like
it's not always good.
Well, that's not how life's gonna work, right? Like not everyone's gonna tick all the boxes, or not everyone's gonna be sitting there like going to always be the best version of themselves, right? And I think like more like when I talk to my Aquarius friends, I'm like, maybe just like don't be as like me, but like don't give like so many chances or whatever, but like be like more open, receptive. Be more receptive to how someone, they might be pretty shit one day, which is true. I think the most important thing is
what's weird? We're so open-minded with like everything else, but when it comes to love, we're like a bit like stuck in our ways.
Do you think it's more like a defense mechanism?
Maybe.
Because it's like, I'm just not about, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you're not going to come into my space and disrupt my peace like this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Probably.
Yeah. Because, but once you have an Aquarius and they're like genuinely like like a mature one that's not gonna like screw you over and like ghost you because Aquarius is love, you know. They don't owe you an explanation. That's what Aquarius
we do
loves
not.
to do.
No.
I don't owe you an explanation. And so they're just like, you know, it depends. Like, you don't really owe anyone an explanation, right?
No, it's so crazy. And I was talking to a guy once, and he was very like, I think it takes us a while to like really open up. Like, we'll like you, but we won't fully show it right away.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a guy once who just like cut me off because he just felt like I was kind of like surface level, or like I wasn't like opening up enough, or like I was kind of just being my more surface level in message, because I was like, no, like he's gonna chase me, you know, like I'm not gonna be fully myself.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it gets you in trouble because you're like, okay, well, they're not seeing all of you because you have like this like tough character where you're like,
True.
you're not gonna disrupt my peace, and like you're
Yeah.
gonna have to work harder, and then it's like it turns off guys too.
Yeah. But then again, like, don't you think like goes back to our other point, like what's meant to be will be. Like if someone really wants
100%.
you, like they're gonna chase.
Oh, that's my motto. Like if a guy wants to, he will. So like if
Yeah.
you're questioning it, it's because he doesn't.
And that's honestly the truth. But it's not just an Aquarius thing. You know, you're saying how like the horse like takes a while to get like, your slow burns. It's not
Yes.
just you. It's like a
For
Gemini
sure.
and a Libra.
That's
On a
why
s-
sometimes when I hear signs and people are talking about how, you know, their horoscope is saying this, you know,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, isn't there just a little bit of everyone in each sign? So when you hear it, you're like, oh, that could be me.
Yeah.
You know, that's what tricks me
Yeah.
a bit in believing it. But I believe in it because I see my sign and I meet people who are my sign, and I'm like, hey,
it makes sense, right?
Makes sense.
But I don't get too much into it because like you can like there's like you can so many planets and it gets like weird.
Yeah.
Weird in the sense that I just don't have the time to like be like I'm not an astrologist. But like I like there's only 4 that I really care for. It's like your sun, right? Which is essentially like you're an Aquarius, I'm a Pisces. So the sun means like your essence, like your being, right? Mm-hmm. And which is not the full story. Like I think moon is like super important to me. Like your moon sign is like how your inner self, like how you actually respond to emotion. Like your emotional reaction to thing is based on your moon sign. So you can be an Aquarius and, you know, be that, well, describe, but you can be an Aquarius like that and they will always be an individual, right? Unique.
Right.
But then they can have, let's say, a water moon sign, and then they're actually very sensitive.
See, like, I don't know all of that. I think
See, do you know your chart?
I don't know my chart.
God, we need to figure it out.
I don't know my chart.
Yeah, no, we gotta
I just
figure it
know
out.
that I'm born on January 22nd.
Do you,
That's
know,
it.
do you know the time of your birth and stuff? You can find it. You can find out.
Yeah, I could find out.
Yeah, that's so fun. Because then once you do that, you want to look at your sun, moon. The moon is your emotional self.
Okay.
And then your rising is actually what people see. So when someone tries to guess your star sign, they might say something. Maybe that's because your rising, it's like a mask. It's like, what do you show the world? Like, I'm like a Pisces sun, Pisces moon. So yeah, super sensitive, whatever. But like my rising is a Leo. So like I'm like super social at first, at least. So like it's more like Leo, like, you know, like very like, I don't know, whatever Leo is. And then the last one I'd like to look into is like a Venus sign. Like that's love. Like knowing someone's Venus sign tells you how they are in love.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's so
And
important.
how do you find that out?
So once you do like, it's on Google, just be like birth chart calculator.
Okay,
And then you just
okay.
type your name, your like date of birth, time of birth is important. If you don't have it, that's okay, but you
No,
won't
I
get
have
all
it.
the information.
Okay.
And then it spits out like the whole chart. And I
Wow.
just read those 4, like sun, moon, rising, and stuff like that. And then like Venus sign is cool because like sometimes, you know, like in relationships that hasn't worked, and I find out like, I like to like, that's what, it's fun. Like,
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
like, oh, it's because you're this Venus.
Right.
Like,
But
you're
what
a
are you on a date going, and what time were you born?
No, I would never say. Could you
You're
imagine?
like, I would never on the first date.
No. Like a few days.
A few days later.
No, it's like, when are you born? Ha ha ha. Like, I need to know.
So you said 6:20 a.m.? Was that p.m. or a.m.? It's gonna
What?
fuck up shit.
It does. What city you're born in? Stop. But no, it's just fun. I genuinely find
Yeah.
it fun. Like, I would never be like, you're a Cancer? Ew.
Yeah.
Like,
Have you?
it's-
I was gonna ask you if you've ever met someone and you like didn't like their sign because you just felt like it wasn't compatible with yours, so you were like, I'm not even gonna get to know this person. Be honest.
No, but
No?
I will tell you like the signs that I've never attracted on a romantic level. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know me.
Yeah.
I've attracted like a lot of the same signs. Like, I had a Capricorn spell. It was like 6 of them. Like, fuck, that's done. No thanks. It's like getting emotion out of a Capricorn is like pulling teeth.
And now you're dealing with a Gemini.
Yeah.
Holy shit, you're gonna be pulling more than
I
teeth.
find it's more like, it's better than like a Capricorn.
Okay.
Capricorn is a bit too much.
Yeah.
And I've never attracted a Libra. Like, I have Libra friends.
Really? I heard that that's my best match.
Yeah, because you're like an air sign. So, like, other air signs usually is very easy.
So what? Water and air goes better?
No. So, like, water would go well with earth.
Water.
Stuff.
Oh, I love your accent.
So, like, water is like Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. And they would go well with, like, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. Usually, right? You can get along with anyone. Air signs go well with fire signs or air signs. So, like, you'd go well with, like, a Leo, an Aries, or a Sagittarius. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Usually there's, like, sister signs, they call them. So each sign has a complete opposite sign. Like, your opposite sign would be a fire sign. I'm not sure what yours is for an Aquarius, but, like, mine opposite is a Virgo.
Okay.
Virgos, which is very different people. Like, I respect them, super fun, but they're, like, super, like, what do you call it? Everything has to be thought through and methodical and like, and to me, I hate like let's just skip corners. Like, if we can work smart, not harder.
Right.
They're like, no, like, where are we at? Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
like,
I feel that.
Let's just chill. But
Yeah.
it could be very fun. But Libras, in terms of like my experience in life, and like Libras are great as friends, but like Libras in relationships, I mean, not talking about everyone, but they're like the most flirt. They're just natural flirts. Good luck getting a Libra to settle. They're just like very indecisive people.
I have a hard time with indecisive people because I feel like I make decisions really quick.
Okay.
I make
You're
decisions so
spontaneous with your
quick,
quicks?
very spontaneous.
Stop.
But like, for me, I don't think about things too much. In my head, I'm like, it either works or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, I still learned, so I'm still ahead.
Oh, I like that.
But like, some people will be like, I don't know what decision. And then in the end, you don't make a decision. Or either way, you're not going to be happy because you were so indecisive about it.
Have you ever traveled with these type of people? Like this,
Yeah, I was just on a trip with someone who's indecisive.
Yeah, it's one of those situations. It's so exhausting, and it's like, but it's like take it even into a context
Because you don't
further.
need to be a bitch, but you're just like, do that. That's fine. Just, yes,
Do you,
that's
know
good.
do you know what it comes across to me as? Which is not entirely true, but to me, it's like, do you have a backbone? Like, is there a spine?
I know.
Like, especially, I've been in situations where like a Libra person in a workplace, for example, never takes a side. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's always like neutral ground. I want to know this side. Like, I understand both sides. No, fuck off. Sometimes.
At some point, you're like, there's right and there's wrong.
What
is
do you
it?
think? Like, that's what gets me. It's like,
Yeah.
what do you think? Like, do you not have an opinion?
Right.
Like, I hate people that don't have an opinion. Like, that's bullshit to me. It's like,
For
everyone has an
sure.
opinion.
For sure.
Like, you can have an extreme one, sure, but like, you're telling me you're sitting there like, no, I get both sides. It's like, to me, you're spineless.
And I
Get away
get the
from me.
whole like being able to see two sides and like 2 + 2 is 4 and 3 + 1 is also 4. Like, I get that
Yeah.
whole idea of being able to see different sides, but at the end, everyone still in their mind has.
And let's be real. It's
Like-
like everyone has an opinion. We're all humans. So the fact that you're not voicing it, to me, is like fake, literally beyond. Like, it depends. Like, they're very nice people. Like, being
Right. But in
indecisive.
certain situations, it's better not to. But
Exactly. But there is situations where you genuinely have to make a choice. And it's like, it gets to a point, it's like, I'm the type of person where it's like, you do whatever you want, believe in whatever you want, be what you want, as long as you're not affecting, like, my
peace.
my peace,
Yeah.
my life, or like anything about me, right? Like, you live your life, I live my life. But then in social settings, when you're like in friendships or anything like that, and then their way of life is like, they're not open to even like being receptive to how their friends might feel. Let's say like you said that you're spontaneous, right? Mm-hmm. As a friend, even if you're like indecisive, you'd want to be like, okay, well, you're spontaneous. Maybe I should just make a decision.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
No,
that's what you should do.
Yeah, right. But normally they just put it on you, and then even when you tell them, it's still like,
Yeah, but it's like, how fucking...
are you sure?
Oh, that's
Are
that's
it's like,
exhausting.
listen, it's exhausting.
I could not. I would be like,
I know.
thank you, not again.
I know. I read this thing about why Aquarius are so like driven. She was saying something like, we don't like to take authority from other people, which is why we'll normally like not like to work for anyone or like
Yeah.
really hustle on our own, because
Yeah.
we just don't like the idea of feeling like we have to listen to someone.
Yes.
Like, we rather have our own.
Yeah, good luck having an Aquarius working 9 to 5.
like it's tough. I've struggled with that in the past.
Yeah.
That it wasn't for me. I
Nor is it
realized that like
mine.
more than just like having the lifestyle of being able to do what I want and the freedom, it was more just the idea of not being able to have to listen to someone
Oh, 100%. Okay,
like
fair.
above me. It's like
so for you, it's more like that, right? It's like someone dictating you.
I don't like that. I don't like people telling me what to do. And then I realized as I look back at the jobs I had, I still had that character where I was like,
That's
you're not going
crazy.
to tell me like
See,
what
that's
to
so,
do
that's
kind
so
of
interesting
thing.
because I've never thought of it that way. Because like I can't do a 9 to 5, right? Even though I'm gonna be doing one, but you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
For me, I flourish more when I have like autonomy. Like I can, like I work at my own pace, right?
Yeah.
But for me, it's not the issue. Is not someone telling me what to do. The issue with me is that putting me in a box, like saying I have to clock in at 9 and clock out at 5.
yeah.
And forcing me to do work and sit on a desk when there's no work to be done, like I would be less productive than me coming at 7 and leaving at 1 or 2.
Right.
I just love freedom. Like the more you try and put me like in any aspects of my life,
You
the-
want to just like
yeah,
revenge.
I'm like a fish, I guess, if you're talking about the star signs. Like
Yeah.
I do not want to be put in a little like bag like for the girl from Nemo and just shaken
For
up
sure.
and like, do you know what I mean? Like freedom is so important.
Yeah.
To breathe. Because then I feel like you become more productive when you have like room to be like yourself and like actually work at your own pace. Not always.
Yeah.
You become like a more productive person.
100%. It's funny when you decide like you're done with something, God will always test you and be like, but are you really
Stop,
though?
all
Don't
the
you
time.
find like you can be like, I'm done talking to this guy.
Stop.
You've officially made the decision to be like, I'm done talking to this
Yeah.
guy. And then God will be like, well, hold on. Let me just test it one more
The
time.
fact that you said that is so creepy because the 2 days before I even moved to Montreal,
Yeah.
I have not seen my first, we can say ex, in like 3 years.
Yeah.
2 years. And like we work in the same city. The city I'm from is super small. So you're bound to run into the same person,
Right.
right? But we just never ran into each other. Tell me why 2 days before I came here, I turn a corner and boom, in my face. And I'm just like, I literally looked up after and I was like, you can't, I was like, be fucking for real.
just-
And I was like, ain't no way I'm going back. I was like, I'm not canceling this flight. And
Yeah.
then, this person watched my story and I was like, no.
Okay, wait. What happened when you saw him after? Did you tell him like, oh, I'm going to Montreal?
No, because even though like we didn't end on any bad terms and we're very different people, like
Yeah. But you know what I think happened?
What?
I think sometimes when you finally come to like a self, when you're kind of like, God, like I've learned to let go of this. I'm like finally at a place where like
Yeah.
this isn't bothering me anymore. I
Yeah.
don't know if that was the situation for
Nah,
you.
it's been years before,
Yeah.
but like I genuinely like wish him the best. Like,
right. And I think that's why you bumped into him.
yeah, it was more like trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
And like God's like, you know what? Like Zein, are you sure you want to go to Montreal? And I was like, please get me out.
Yeah.
Like get me out of here. But super sweet and like we didn't speak. It's just
Sometimes
let's just say
it-
immaturity. Let's just say like it's just like he's in a relationship which for more than 2 years. Love that for him. It's not like, but like we ran into each other like a year and a half, 2 years before, and like we were walking. Like he was walking up in the narrow street, and I was walking. So like, we were literally walking up to each other. And I was gonna say like hi. Like I think you literally like spend so much time with
for
someone.
sure.
I
Like what
think
we're gonna act like strangers
at least
now.
say hi.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stop and have a conversation, but at least nod your head and say hi. Right? I
Right.
feel like that's like
Some
basic.
people are so petty though. They're like, I'm just gonna look down or look
That's
on my
what happened.
phone.
Literally put out his phone and just kept walking by me, and I was like, "Well, now you're dead to me," because like that's like you're flanking me. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. But when we actually ran into each other, like it was a corner, so he was coming in to the walkway in the building, and I was walking out, so there was no real time for us to stop and chat. Nor was I gonna turn around and tap him on the shoulder.
Yeah. Like, excuse
like
me.
you flanked me once. Like fuck you. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And that was it. I was like, bye.
I'm kind of like getting older now and I want to find my person. And I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of the times now I'm just like, okay, there's certain people that I like chat with, not sleep with, but just like chat with. And I'm like, just entertaining kind
yes. Yeah. Of course.
of. And now I'm starting to think like, that's energy.
Yes.
And that's me giving signs to the universe. They're like, I'm okay. Like I have this roster.
For
and
sure.
why would I attract my person if I'm here entertaining people that I know I'm not going to be with?
Yeah, I love how you said
So
that.
now that I'm kind of like wheeling it back and like every person I'm just like cutting out, because Aquarius, we're good at cutting out.
It's good.
God is still testing me, not gonna lie.
It's to see, like, yeah, 100%.
I feel like I'm already closer to my person because I'm like, oh, I know what I want, I know what I deserve. I'm not letting these little things
I love that. No, it's
be
so good.
in the way anymore.
100%. I feel like that's just a sign of maturity. Like I always knew I was going to leave Adelaide, like, which is my birth city and like where I lived in Australia. And because of that sole reason, and the only reason why I stayed is I was doing my PhD, right? So I was like tied there.
Yeah.
But I did not date anyone. Like I would speak to people, but like I refused to be in a relationship with anyone or even go on dates and actually get to know someone on an intimate level because I knew I wasn't going to be there. I was going to move as soon as I finished my PhD. And I'm like, I didn't want to hurt anyone for starters. And two, I just knew my person was definitely not from that city. Definitely not.
I feel that.
So-
I really feel that.
So, none of my relationships that I've cared for have been from my city.
Wow. Only one really for me. Yeah, me too. I don't feel like, I don't know if it's just me feeling like I can't grow here anymore and I need to move. That's why I'm thinking of doing Dubai. I don't know if
I think Dubai would be great.
Habibis, it's time
come
for a
to Dubai.
change.
It'll be an experience.
For
And
sure.
you always know you can come back.
That's
what
it.
I
Like,
think
I'm
about
like-
Australia. I'm like we said, if I'm not here next week, you know.
But I was like, look, instead of doing a year in Dubai, let me go do a month. I'm going to rent an Airbnb, see how I like it, do it a little
Why
bit
not?
differently, like do groceries, and just like
Yes.
see if I can like live there and then make the decision if
I
I
think
want to
it's
do a
very
year
good.
there.
I think it's
But,
very, very plausible.
yeah.
And 1 month flies by. Trust me, it's been like 2 months and
Yeah.
just over 2 months since
But
I
you know
moved
what
here.
I also realized about like religion and being there? It's that I'm not worried about like, you know how, you'll meet someone like you're Muslim, okay?
Yeah.
We both believe in God.
Yeah.
We have different gods.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Wait, different gods? We have the same God, I'm sure. Wait,
Well-
what's your religion?
I'm Christian.
Yeah, it's the same God.
Well,
I mean, just Jesus is a difference.
right.
But there's still a God, right?
There's still a God.
But Jesus is a God.
Right, but I
The Son
want
of God.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, but like I get you.
You get what I'm
100%.
trying to say.
I was like in my head, I was like, is she Buddhist? Like, I was like, how many gods does this bitch have? I was like,
Bitch,
Allah.
I am God.
Allah, please. No, okay, yeah, Christianity.
But what I'm realizing is even from like watching other podcasts and listening to let's like a Muslim and a Catholic speak,
Yeah.
I'm learning that like the fear is not talking to someone else who has a different religion
Yes,
from you.
okay.
The fear for me now at this point in my
Okay.
life is somebody who doesn't believe in any kind of God.
Oh, an atheist.
An atheist, yes.
Oh, let's pick this apart.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I feel like when you have a set of rules and values for
Yeah.
yourself, regardless of whether we see things like differently or not,
Yeah.
we still are looking at someone like a higher power and we're still technically respecting someone.
I
And I
love
feel like
that.
when you don't have boundaries and there's nobody, like you think you're,
You're not
God
fearing
almost and
anyone.
like you're not fearing anyone.
love that.
That's
No,
such a
that's so good.
scary way of going
Concept.
about life. A concept. Like you almost like think you're God and feel like the weight of the world is just completely
Yeah.
on you. Whereas like you're
I completely respect that. Actually.
You know?
I agree. Like it's weird because I have so many atheist friends in
Yeah.
Australia, and like these are my favorite girlfriends, and they're all atheists, and I'm like I never thought about like anything got to do with religion because like for me religion and politics is not something I really like to talk about with friends. Like
Yeah.
unless it's like your political views are hi, how you going, then I don't really do that. But like when it comes to like your context about like having it's important to me. Important in the sense like you don't have to be like super religious. Like I'm not looking for someone that's going to be like going to church every Sunday, you know, if you're Christian, or someone that's in the same religion as me. I don't think that's important to me at all. I think it's just like having that.
like knowing there's somebody watching over
There's
you.
something up
there's
there.
somebody like
Yeah.
judging you, not judging you, but like kind of like you know
it's funny
like
how you said that because you said judging you, and then like every religion preaches only God can judge you,
Yeah.
and then what do the religious people do?
they judge you.
They're the worst ones.
Yeah.
They literally sit there and like pick apart every single thing, and I was like, make it make sense. Like, doesn't your religion, whatever the religion is, I guarantee you, it tells you not to judge people.
Yeah.
But you want to sit here and scrutinize people, and then you know some of them are extremists, and they go above and beyond to like exterminate another person because they don't believe the same shit.
100%. I think what I'm trying to learn this year is trying to control my thoughts. Like, that's
Yeah.
something I really, really want to work on this year, because I think sometimes we can be so hard on ourselves because our thoughts are so dark, or like we're thinking the worst of
Yeah.
ourselves. So then we almost like bring that on other people. Like, for example, if I see someone and like I don't like I look at them first glance and I'm like, oh, that's an ugly guy. Okay, like, I'm just being real. Okay, let's say I see someone, I'm like, oh,
I'm just being honest.
I'm just,
You know what I'm talking about? Or like the other one.
oh, I'm
it's
so
my
mature.
opinion.
It's my opinion. But like,
Stop.
just really controlling your thoughts, because sometimes, let's say for example, okay, you meet someone, you're talking to them, and you're looking at them and you go, wow, that's really not a good looking person. You know, your first thought that comes to your mind is almost like out of your control, because you're like,
Oh my god, I love this. Yes.
it's like what you're thinking about, so you can't control it. But like, if you can, after you say that,
Yeah.
control your mind to be like, Alessia, what you said
Exactly.
is not nice. Like, they have a big heart, or
Yeah.
like, you don't know someone, you're judging
Yeah.
them based off like a look. Like, they can't control that, or
Exactly.
like, you just like think back to like
100%.
why. I think the first thought you think about is not the problem. It's how you think after the
Brilliant.
first thought.
There's a lot of neuroscience to this. I don't want to get like all that geeky
Because I
shit.
can technically control my
No, you
first
can't.
thought.
No,
But
absolutely.
I can control how I narrate it after.
Like everything you just said is perfect. It's like it's a clear example of higher order thinking, right? So your brain, you can separate into like a couple of brains. So like think about it as your age. When you're like a young child or an infant, right? When something doesn't happen, or if they're hungry, they cry. If they want, everything they want to cry, they don't have an inner voice or a higher order thinking to be like, okay, yes, I'm emotional. Yes, this upsets me. Maybe I should not cry. They're just going to cry, right?
Right.
As you age, you mature like your prefrontal cortex, which is more higher order thinking and stuff like that, right? Females mature it much earlier than men, which also goes into the whole that females also are more mature than men, right? Which is scientifically true. Like you ladies are
Mature.
more mature. No, you're more mature than men.
Remember when I said I'm so mature?
Yeah, I'm so mature. Stop. No. Let's digress for a second.
Oh my
The
God.
first time I ever met Alessia was via a FaceTime, and I was FaceTiming her best friend, and she comes in. She was a bit drunk, and she was like, "Listen, guys." The thing about me is I can't have this energy around me. Do you know why? Because I'm so mature. I was like, who is this girl? And
You're like, who the
we were
fuck?
dying.
Oh my
And
god.
the amount of time you said it, you're like, no, I'm being serious. I'm just mature. Like, I'm just in this part of my life where like...
I'm so embarrassing.
But it was so funny. Now it's just an ongoing joke.
Oh my
like,
God, now you're
that's
saying mature.
Love that.
Love that.
But yeah, no, as you age, you develop like a higher order brain.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what you said. So like your innate voice, that response to anything, being seeing someone ugly, or if you want to go extreme, like when you're taught by society and your environment that certain people or ethnicities are bad people, right?
Mm-hmm.
No one's born, for example, a racist. Your environment teaches you that way. It's the sad truth.
Yeah.
No one's born a racist. They're just adapted to become that.
For sure.
Based on your childhood and your environment. And every environment is usually racist to something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or racist or whatever, misogynistic, whatever it may be, correct? The difference is when someone that's mature grows up and they're actually mature, they would still have those innate thoughts, and then it'd be a lie if someone tells you they don't. For example, seeing something that you've let's say a minority of people, I don't pick any in the world, right? And then you've been taught that stay away from these minorities, they're dangerous, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you're walking by yourself at night. This is more so for females because, of course, females are prone to more attacks. But let's say you're walking by yourself at night and you see them in a group, kiki ha ha ha, right? But they're a bit drunk. Your first thought is cross the road and walk on the other side, right? Or like you go into fight or flight. You're like, I need to stay safe.
Right.
Turn down the music on your headphones. Do you know when you turn it down in the car? You're like,
Yeah.
I need to think better.
Yeah, literally.
I've lost my way. But you do that. That's a natural response. But the difference is sometimes, if it permits, let's say it's daytime, and there's actually other people around you, and you're pretty safe, right? You don't need to cross the road. You don't need to look at them funny. You don't need to think better. You don't need to think better. But you do that. That's a natural response. But the difference is sometimes, if it permits, let's say it's daytime, and there's actually other people around you, and you're pretty safe, right? You don't need to cross the road. You don't need to you don't need to make any comments. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. That's maturity. Because you've got that first innate thought that you were kind of like conditioned. Instilled in you. But then you've matured as a person to be like, these people have done nothing to me. They haven't come. It's different if they actually engage in, in an aggressive way. But they haven't given you any cues for you to become that hostile or defensive. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that's maturity.
And I think also when you start to do that, you start to control like your thoughts.
100%.
You start to look at yourself differently. It's
100%.
like me if I look at someone who like, I don't know, is like, if I'm looking at someone and I'm like, oh wow, like she gained weight, then I'm gonna start looking at myself and being like, oh well, if I'm so hard on that person, I'm gonna be so hard on myself. So I think when you control your
it's so
thoughts,
true.
and then you
It's
know,
all mental.
it's all mental, and the first thought is really sometimes out of your control, but it's not the first thought that counts; it's the second.
I absolutely, and it's your response to that thought, right? Like, what are you gonna do about it? Like, let's say you have the thought, someone's ugly, someone's fat, and you'd be like. Sorry, just another meme that came into my head. You're not ugly. You're fat. It was Hannah or something from like. She's like, I'm being honest. I'm not trying to be mean, but you're just fat.
Oh my god.
But anyways, what I'm trying to say is thinking that is okay, like you said, but it's like actually saying to them, like, oh, you're ugly.
Right.
That's just rude. That's just like inconsiderate, right? That's stopping yourself. Like the actual verbal enunciation of you're ugly, that just shows you that you're just a horrible person. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like control your tongue. But I agree with you. It's literally like once you're able to like not master but better control your thoughts. Yeah. Because it's a constant thing. You're never gonna. It's not like you're gonna wake up one day and be like, oh, I got this. Yeah. Right. But like you said, if that's your goal for this year, then it's like by the end of it, you're gonna look back at it and be like, if you actively have worked towards it, you're gonna be like, wow, like I see the world differently now because you're no longer submissive to that initial thought, right? Like that's not dictating your moves, right? It's more that so then you'd still get the cues, but you're waiting for that second rational thought to come through, like maybe I shouldn't say that, maybe I shouldn't do this.
100%.
And I feel like as long as you're aware of it, that's always the first step. For sure. Once you're aware of something, any toxicity, anything in life, acceptance or awareness is like the first step. The rest is going to take a while, but good luck.
Thank you. I'll let you know how that journey goes.
Let me know in the year.
By the way, you're still ugly. And that was my second thought.
You don't want to hear the first.
Well, the second one was nicer.
Oh, stop. It's like you're fat and ugly. I just remove the fat part and you're just ugly. That's
I'm
no
just
color.
honest.
Yeah.
That's another thing though. Like when people are like, oh, she's not mean, or like, oh, she's just honest. I think there's a difference between being honest and being a bitch. Yeah. And also just because you're honest, I'm a super honest person, but I think sometimes people are not ready for what you have to say.
But do you know who those people are? Grow up. I'm being serious. Like, how can you be a grown-ass person?
But they're not mature like
They're
us.
not mature. They're not. No, that's literally it, though. Like, how can you be a grown-ass person walking around paying bills and shit, and you can't handle one feedback? Yeah. Rule number one is, every time I say rule number one, do you know what comes to my head? What? Nicki Minaj. She's like, rule number one to be a boss-ass bitch. Anyways. No, but honestly, the number one rule is, if you are unable to handle constructive any person's opinion. Everyone has opinions, like assholes. Everyone has an opinion, right? Does that mean I want to listen to every asshole fart? Yeah. No. You're just not going to do it. It's just going to be like one of those things where it's like, okay, you have an opinion, but I don't care for you. Like for me, if I don't care for you, I don't give a shit about your opinion. Yeah. Like I'll take it in consideration. Thanks for your opinion, but...
For sure. And I think the people who get very worked up about somebody giving their opinion is because they're not secure in how they actually feel. Because if you know, like
go do some work.
It's like Veronica has told me in the past, like if someone goes, your hair is blue, but you know your hair is pink, it's not even gonna affect you.
Brilliant.
You know?
Exactly. No.
But if somebody's like, oh, you're two-faced, let's say, okay? Somebody comes up to you and they're like, oh, you're two-faced. If you know you're not two-faced, it's never gonna phase you. But if there's a part of you that thinks maybe she's right, then you're gonna attack.
It's insecurity.
So you always attack somebody if they have like an opinion.
I love that.
Only
It's
if
true, though.
Only if they're insecure in it.
100%. And people always project their insecurities. Everyone has insecurities. Don't like, no one can be
I
like,
think like just letting that out. Like everybody has insecurities. Like I feel better
we're
already.
Not perfect. I mean, we're close to it. I'm joking, by the way. But like everyone has insecurities, and I think actually befriending your insecurity. Back in the hoo-ha, I was like extremely overweight, right? At 16, you would have recognized like I was like 106
Oh my God, so
kilos.
I was right about you being fat. So wait, that was my first thought.
Being fat? Wait, I'm still fat? No. Let's break it down.
Totally
No.
kidding. I'm fucking with you.
But like, I had really bad like body dysmorphia issues, right? I still have insecurities that last from it, right? Like my body, 'cause if you look at a body that was never overweight, right? The structure of the body keeps score. Let's just say that, right? But if you have someone that's lost weight, there's always going to be, if you really want to dissect, and you're your harshest critic. Like you're going to always be the worst critic. So when I look in the mirror, I can pick up on things where like there's still a bit of fat here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But like if I was to succumb or like be beaten or defeated by that voice in my head that's saying you're still fat, no matter how far I've come, I'm never going to beat it. Because I'm never going to be perfect. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And there's no such thing as perfect. I think being perfectly imperfect
Here we go.
is
Beautiful.
the way.
Yeah.
It's honestly the truth, though. Like, I value people that own it. Do you know what I mean? Like, someone that comes up to me, like, if I'm talking compensation, they're like, yeah, I'm not perfect. That's so attractive.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, someone that comes to me and, like, acts so perfect is the most insecure person.
Most insecure person. Oh,
You
it's
just say
the
one
worst
thing about
thing.
them and you watch them crumble.
Also, when somebody acts so perfect, the person who's trying to get to know you lacks the ability to connect with you.
100%.
I think people connect so much on like, having those imperfections,
100%.
because
It
it's
makes us human.
relatable. It makes us human. So when you
100%.
come off like you're perfect,
Who wants to be around that?
who wants to be around
It's
that?
like, babes, you're not perfect. And
Exactly.
those people want me just to say that first thought that comes to my mind. Like, we can be petty. Do you know what I mean? Like, if someone like acts like that, I feel like those people, from my end, deserve it. Like, how can someone be giving me and saying that they're perfect when they're missing a top lip? Like, let's be real. If you think I'm gonna sit here and like be scolded by someone that's missing a top lip, smile for me.
Oh my God.
No, let's be real.
Did want to get into, so you're Muslim.
Oh yeah, Muslimity.
You're Muslim. You're gay.
Yeah.
How is
Whoa.
that? You're like, whoa.
Wait, I'm
Wait.
I'm joking. That's a joke with my
You're like, my
friends.
family doesn't know.
Well, not all of them. I always, what do you call it? I always joke around with my friends, with my girlfriends. I'm like, but I'm not gay, like as a joke. And I say it so seriously. They're like,
They're like, I don't know.
do we miss a few steps? Like,
Oh my
babe, you're gay. And I'm like, oh yeah.
They're like, wait, have we been changing in front of this straight guy this
I
entire
can be
time?
very straight, by the way. I was in the closet for like 22 years. Like, if you bring a homie up close to me, I'll do the whole handshake, tap on the back. Sup, bro? My barber, even in Montreal, thinks I'm straight.
Yeah, because you don't give off gay vibes.
Yeah. I mean, hi guys. You never see from me. I like that though. Like, that's the thing. I also
Wait, so are you open to talking about sex and stuff?
yeah,
Or is it?
yeah. Ask me whatever you'd like.
You're like, I mean.
No.
Have you ever hooked up with a girl?
Yeah, that's how I started.
Okay.
I was like, because I was like, honestly, it was really hard. Like, culturally and religiously, it's not acceptable.
Right.
So it's like a double homicide. Do you know that? But like, it's honestly really hard. So like, I struggled a lot, and like, I remember getting the first time with a guy, and we literally just kissed. And when I tell you, I like dissociated. I didn't know how I got home. Like, I felt so sick to my stomach for even kissing a guy, acting on those emotions that I've like really pressed down for so many years. And then I didn't get with a guy for an entire year. Like, I was that put off. But then weirdly, I was like dissociating. I was happy as well because I'm like, I'm not gay. Does that make sense? I was like, I didn't like it. And then with time, like, I go with girls, and it's not like, I'm not like, it's very rare, but I still get like, there is a few girls that I've met where I genuinely find them attractive enough that I'm like, they're actually like hot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like they're like, wow. Like, in that sense.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know, I wasn't. No, I'm joking. But you know what I mean? Like, it's.
Yeah.
But I realized soon enough, skipping ahead of time, that I could never have those. I can never build a relationship with a girl. Like, sex is one thing, but building a relationship is another. Like, I never felt emotions like that to a girl. And like, that's when I I got catfished.
Wait, what? Please explain.
That's the only reason.
Hold the phone.
No, that's the only reason. I can't believe I'm even speaking about this. That's the only reason why I even came out to my friends. I wasn't even going to come out to my friends, even though that's someone
You got
new.
catfish.
I got catfish. I don't know who this catfish is even to this day. It was in. No, you're gonna die.
I need to know this story.
Okay, in a short sense.
Yes.
I met this guy on, I think it was like Tinder.
Okay.
And then we always kept chatting. It was like November 19th. I remember, like, I have a really weird
It was
memory.
definitely someone who was like, he's probably gay. Like, let's just make a fake account.
No, but no, because I was ugly as fuck back then. So I was like, I was punching, you know, like this guy was really good looking. And then I was like, cool. So we kept speaking, and then like 1 month went by, 2 months, and I was like, why have you not met yet? The good thing about back in that day, I was so in the closet that I wanted to take my time before I saw the guy. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't gonna be like, let's grab coffee tomorrow. I don't want to be seen out in public with you, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So he was in the same boat as me. So he told me that like his family doesn't know, his friends don't know. So we bonded over that.
Right.
So 2-3
Trauma bonding.
Yeah, 2-3 months went by and we still didn't meet. And then he'd disappear and come back. It was a whole shit. Anyways, he ended up just disappearing, gone. And then I was like, I only had photos and I only knew his first name, and his first name was a fucking basic name. And I was like,
What was it?
Ben. Good luck finding a Ben in this world.
Yeah.
And then I was like, whatever. And then long story short, I tried to find every Ben on Facebook in my city.
Oh my
I
God.
was like, Ben. I sat there for hours.
No.
I swear to God. But because of this incident, during it, before like this guy disappeared, I did tell my best friend. Do you know what I mean? Like I started...
Right.
Because this person, no matter how funny this whole thing is, this person made me realize that I am gay. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
after that, I genuinely started seeing guys.
Sometimes things happen not the way we want,
Lord,
but it brings us to the next
Lord
step.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Because, yeah, I didn't end up finding it. Long story short, my sister ended up... just from his photos, found the guy, but he lived in a different state. She found the guy in the photos.
Because you searched through photo instead of...
So she found the guy behind the photos, which wasn't the guy I was talking to. So then I reached out to the guy, and he's a professional football player. Like,
Okay.
Like, just got scouted, like actual thing. And I was thinking, oh, no one in Australian Football League, which is AFL, is called in Australia. It's just Australian football. No one's come out as gay yet. So I was like, oh, it makes sense because he got scouted, whatever. I reached out to him and he was like, I don't know what you're on about. But he was super chill. He was like, nah, man, like not me. I have a girlfriend. I was like, cool, no worries, whatever. But I was like, I just want to ask you a question. I have a lot of photos, non-explicit ones, but I have a lot of photos that are not on your socials. And he goes, oh, send them to me. So I sent it to him. And then he's like, oh, those are in my friend's private tagged photos. And I was like, your friends that are private? So this person
Is in your group.
is in like your circle, buddy. But he didn't care. And I was like, that's weird. That's suspicious. 3 months later, he just, I reached out to him because I was like, still stalking. Is it him? So I reached out to him and I was like, hey, how's this season going, you know? And he's like, yeah, all good. But weird because I just told a straight man that I pretty much fell what I thought back then was love. It wasn't. Like,
Right.
I fell for you and I'm obsessed with you, but it's not you. It's someone that's catfishing your profile and you were super like okay about it. But why are you having conversation with me? We started talking about coffee. We started talking about weird, right? No straight man's gonna do that.
Right.
So then he just followed me on Instagram. The real guy.
Okay.
Anyways, I think we still follow each other, but we never spoke again. That's it. But yeah, that's what got me.
So wait, you did get catfished or you did
I
it
did,
almost?
I did.
No, I know,
But
but
that-
it's almost like,
But yeah, is this guy in the closet too?
oh my God.
Poor girlfriend. No,
You know what I learned? They're all in the fucking closet.
He just got engaged. So bless your soul. Good luck, girl.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that's honestly what everything happens for a reason. And then after that, I saw the guy I told you I ran into just 2 days before coming here.
Yeah, your ex?
That was 3 months after I just came out with my friends. So I was emotionally unavailable.
Mm-hmm.
He fell in love. I assume, no, he did. And then I couldn't give, like, we were exclusive and everything because I'm very monogamous in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I couldn't really like commit.
Yeah.
And he was a white boy, so
Okay.
it's never
Got a
gonna
white
work.
boy on my roster.
But,
And okay, so do you ever feel like your God is judging you because,
Yeah,
you're
wow.
Muslim and gay? Like, is that
Wow, that's a good question.
No,
but
I'm-
it's a good question. I love it. That's also something that I think about. Like, I get asked all the time, like, why are you even calling yourself, like, for example, I don't eat, like, I eat halal food, right?
Yeah.
I tend not to drink that type of stuff. That I stay away from things that I can control. People are like, but you're gay, you're going to hell. In by your religion, like, which is, I don't blame them for saying that. Like, why are you stopping yourself from eating this or not drinking, but you're committing the ultimate crime, so and so, right? And I'm like, yeah, I understand that, and I battled that myself, really. But it came down to a simple truth, which is something I believe. I don't care what anyone else believes, but just what I can put my head and sleep restful, like, at peace with at night. It's like, simply, I wasn't born to be. I didn't. I wasn't born like I was.
Rerun.
I didn't choose to be born gay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would not have chosen to be born gay if I'm completely. Like, I genuinely would not
Yeah.
want this life. Like, what? Who? I laugh when people say that it's a choice, because who wants to be? Especially when you come from
Well,
culture.
you know who's gonna say it's a choice? Someone who doesn't understand who's not gay.
Exactly.
And that's what it is.
It's
And I
crazy.
think people lack the ability to understand that, like, you aren't everybody.
Exactly. Lack of empathy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I personally, I can only speak for myself. I would not have chosen to be gay at all. Religiously, culturally. Do you know how easy my life would have been if I didn't? How much I could have saved emotional trauma if I was straight?
Right.
Like, I could be living the best cliche life.
Right. And do you feel like you are strict on other parts, like not drinking alcohol, because you feel like you need to make up for that part?
Yeah, I used to be very, very strict. Like the halal and stuff, like eating and stuff, I've never wavered on that. Alcohol, I've never been drunk. Have I tasted it? Yes, I have. But I've never, ever picked up a glass to be like, I want to get smashed or tipsy. Like,
Yeah.
it's honestly as a flavoring. Like, if someone pours me like a vodka Red Bull, I'm going to drink the vodka Red Bull, but am I going to be ordering a lot of vodka Red Bulls to get drunk? It's not going to happen.
But you know what I find difficult, and this is gonna sound
No,
maybe
please.
ignorant or stupid,
Yeah.
but it's like, in the end, isn't it all about like just being a really good person?
I think so.
So like, do you really think it's like when it's your time to go, God's like, oh well, he was gay, so he's going to hell, or oh, he drank a little too much alcohol,
Says the
so
camera, because at this point
he's
it's
going
like,
to hell. Like, it's like, truthfully, if you were a good person,
yeah, that's what it should be.
you're going to heaven.
Yeah, like I talked to my mom and stuff, and she's like super chill in that regards. And like, I was like to her, I was like, Mom, like, I have my best friend. I've known her since for like 13 years. She's atheist, but she's the sweetest girl ever, right? And she hasn't hurt a fly. Super nice. And like, my mom is religious much more than me, right? And we both believe she's not going to hell just because she doesn't believe in God. Do you know what I mean? Like, that I don't understand. Like, what? So you have, like, if you've done nothing wrong in your life and you've actually been a really kind person and you've been empathetic and you haven't hurt a fly, you're not by default not going to heaven if you believe in heaven. But someone that's committed a crime but then reverts or converts to a religion and then says, please God. Do that make sense?
Yeah.
They can go to heaven,
Yeah.
because they acknowledge God.
This is gonna sound really, really fucked up.
Go.
But like, I don't know if this is even, I should be saying this, but does hell really even exist?
I think, let's ask, you said
Wait,
before.
the reason I
believe
say
in, like-
this is because I truthfully think in everyone is a good person. Let's just bring up, like, you're a serial killer, okay? You kill people, so you're automatically, technically, like, we would see it as you're going to hell, right?
Well, they
because
should be.
obviously, because you're killing people.
Yeah.
But if we look at like what brought them into being a serial killer, was it their upbringing, the family they had? I'm not saying there's like there's excuses for
Yeah.
it, but I think sometimes people are mentally unwell and they do things that they just don't have either the education, they don't have the support system.
Like to answer this?
Yeah.
Do you think every single person born on this planet is a good person?
Maybe this is my downfall. I think everyone has
Good in them?
good in them.
Nah, babes. Ain't no way. There's some rotten fruit.
For sure, there's rotten fruit.
I don't think they're redeemable.
No, for sure, there's rotten fruit.
Yeah.
I just think that, like, I'm very open-minded in knowing that no one just becomes a rotten fruit. There's things that happen to make them a rotten
True,
fruit.
but-
So, like, if you've been
True.
handed different cards and that kind of
True.
takes a turn on your
But
life.
unfortunately, those are the cards.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, I'm not
Yeah.
going to sit here and be like, you know what? Hitler could have been a nice guy, but, like, Hitler's Hitler. Do you know what I mean? And all X, Y, Z is that. And the thing is, though, like, if you're talking about, like, there is something that they can't control. Like, a psychopath is born. A sociopath is made. A psychopath is genetics. Like, it's the actual brain.
But wouldn't we say
develops
that, like,
different.
God created them that way? Let's say.
Yeah,
For
I guess
example.
God created us all, right?
Okay, so if God created a psychopath and he starts acting that way, like, I guess, like, what would you say in that sense?
God also made the gays, so he's clearly at fault.
Yeah. I mean,
Fuck them gays.
Basically, we're just
The gays, they're trying to murder
just to
me.
clarify, though. I'm not saying that these things are
No,
acceptable.
I know.
I'm
You're
just
having
like,
an open conversation.
yeah,
which is,
sometimes I'm just like trying to dissect like why people are the way they are and
no, 100%.
things that happen to them and why they make someone a bad person, and like it doesn't make it acceptable and stuff. But like,
absolutely not.
I
But
don't
it's no. I really appreciate and respect that type of thought process, because you're not one dimensional. You're kind of being considerate and you want to think outside and broaden your horizon. But I think genuinely at the end of the day, like, we have to learn, at least for myself, I'm trying to teach myself to take things at face value.
Yeah.
I always see beneath, like, I see someone's potential all the time. I'm like, you're a great, I've dated.
we're not dating for
I've
potential
dated
anymore.
For potential. But there was no credentials, as Grande said. But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
You always can see there's good in someone. Not everyone, but you can see in most people there is good in them.
Mm-hmm.
But is it your job to fish that out of them?
No.
Absolutely not. Go fuck off. That's
Right.
literally the truth.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. Like, people have to just learn to take people at face value. Like,
Yeah.
everyone has a bad day, don't get me wrong. But like, you can have a bad day and not be a cunt.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, everyone has bad days. I have a bad day. Do you see me going out and yelling at people or like screaming at my barista because they fucked up
For
and
sure.
didn't put sugar in my coffee? Like,
For sure.
it's gonna annoy me because, again, you're like very like sensitive and
Right.
alert.
But you were also born in a family that taught you right from wrong.
True.
So like I think it's sometimes very hard to see the other side of it when you have that support system, you have that family base.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
food for thought.
It is true. You're right, because I wasn't blessed with two supportive parents, but I at least had one.
Yes.
And I can't begin to understand an individual that didn't have either parent.
Yeah.
So now I'm very empathetic to that 100%, and I'm also empathetic to the fact that a lot of people come from unfortunate circumstances in the world where they didn't have education and none of the stuff that I was fortunate or privy to have, of course. What I'm trying to say is that there is even if you don't have education, there's a basic
common sense,
Yeah.
common knowledge. Okay, let's get into these card
tarot,
readings.
Yeah, I feel like we've done do a tarot reading.
Yes, let's do a tarot reading.
So it's gonna be. Do you want like a general one, or do you want like be real?
You tell me what I want.
Let's just do a general one and see what comes up. Like, what's coming up in your energy.
Okay.
Okay. So relax. It's gonna be chill. So the way it works, the way I do it, is that I'll just get you to shuffle. Do you know how to shuffle cards?
Yeah, I think so.
Shuffle them in one
I'm
direction.
so nervous that I'm gonna be like
Like this? No. Just like shuffle like however you want. Whenever you feel like stopping, stop. And then place them on the
Okay.
table, and then I'll just tell you what to do.
Okay,
after.
so I just shuffle them this way.
Yeah, in whatever way. Just don't don't like flip them upside down. And then just tell me whenever you feel like stopping, just stop.
I shuffled.
Okay. And then with your left hand, I guess, just cut the deck. Okay. Let's begin.
Was it supposed to be in half?
No, anything. All right. So I'm going to move some
I'm so nervous.
some of your candy.
So when I did my last reading at Raoul's in New York, she was speaking so fast, and I feel like it was kind of just very broad. So I was like, okay, I get what she's saying, but like what?
Yeah. No, and I think the good thing about this is that you can ask any questions you want.
Okay.
So let me just see what we have in general. So here on the top, like these 5 are like the energy coming through. This is on the bottom of the deck. Usually I read it as like what you don't see coming, or like what to be aware of. Do you know what I mean? Like an energy that's not, it's in the background. Do you know what I mean? But it's also very important. Like, what do you not see coming?
Okay.
You know what I mean? I haven't done it in like a past, present, future. I don't believe in like tarot telling you the future. I feel like, again, you can make your future.
Right.
I hate doing those type of future readings because people walk away being like looking for that answer. So they
almost like
they create that.
They create it.
Yeah, which I don't think is the appropriate response, right? So what I've done is a general reading of like what to note, like right now, or what could come.
Okay.
Right? Okay, first thing and foremost is the energy itself is not negative at all. Like there's not a single energy here of someone being shady, negativity, any loss, anything detriment to you. Actually, what I'm seeing is there's a lot of like financial abundance that could come into play if what I'm going to explain to you comes through. Do you know what I mean? Like there's
Okay.
a lot of wealth and opportunity
Okay.
that is coming towards you, but it's
Ooh.
more how you go about to get there. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So the High Priestess, the King of Pentacles. So the High Priestess is the card of intuition, right? It's a card of like knowing what is going on with like, it's like that inner, the gut feeling.
Okay.
And the King of Pentacles is, Pentacles in tarot represents stability, finance, etc. Cups usually represent emotions, swords represent the mind and thoughts, and then wands represent action and passion and stuff. You have a lot of, what you're seeing here is the King of Pentacles is like the king of the suit, right? So it's a very stable figure. Usually, yes, it's a King of Pentacle means a male, but in tarot, it doesn't have to be like a sex or a gender, right?
Hopefully it is.
No, yeah, it could be. But, and I'm going to clarify in a second. What
Yeah.
I see here is that there is a Six of Swords. It's like you're like on this boat, if you can see, and it's like you're riding on this boat, which is on a calm water towards the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is one of the best cards in this deck. Or in
Really?
tarot. Ten of Pentacles is like abundance, not just a financial abundance. It's like safety, security. Do you know what I mean? Something that I, for some reason, am picking up from you is something that you've always strived for. It's like you want, like intuitively, all you've really wanted is to be doing what you love, making money, and just enjoying it with people that you love and your inner circle. Do you know what I mean? And I see there's a huge potential here. The good thing about all of this is that you have the Nine of Cups coming in. Nine of Cups is like a dream come true cup. So Nine of Cups is like you have 9 cups. Each cup represents like an opportunity, and you're sitting there and you're just like basking in the glory. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
But it's kind of giving you a little like caution that you have so many
Tabs?
I think you have so many tabs open that there is opportunities in each one, but you can't be, a master of all trades. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm picking up from what I'm seeing so far before we get into it more is that you really need to just focus on the one, like pick 1 or 2 things that you really want to drive through and just give it like 120%. And it's not an easy road, but there's a lot of opportunities to come. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And even though perhaps I'm also getting that you're not really seeing the fruition as of yet, do you know what I mean? That this abundance, but it's there. It's like you're slowly, if you look at this boat, it's not like on a high wave. It's not like you're, you know what I mean? It's not a fast approaching energy. It's a slow burn that's going to really be rewarding if you just stick it out. But there's more coming in. The King of Pentacles, again, could represent an individual, but I'll see who this energy is in a second. What you don't see coming is interesting. So Ace of Pentacles is, again, Pentacles opportunities. Ace represents like complete brand new beginning, new opportunities. So an Ace of Pentacles, as you can see here, is essentially like someone or an opportunity like literally being given to you. Does that make sense? There is going to be something coming up towards you that is like too hard, like you'll be dumb not to take. So I mean, there's going to be an opportunity arising that is really going to catapult the success of yours. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the energy attached to it is interesting because yes, it's going to be super amazing, right? And I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I think you'd be stupid not to do it. But it's a lot of caution because you're getting, your mind is kind of like playing a trick on you. You're going to be in like between 2 worlds. So 2 of Swords is you're indecisive about 2 options.
Speaking of indecisive.
Yeah, literally. But like what I mean by this is like you got, then if you look at this girl, she's got a blindfold on, but like she can easily take out get rid of the swords and take the blindfold off. Does that make sense?
Show the camera? Yeah.
Which one? This one?
I guess that one. Yeah.
And the interesting thing about this is that it goes to show that it's all mental. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. You're gonna be faced with very fast moving energy out of nowhere. So the Knight of Wands is it's not the best energy in a sense that like you might have like someone kind of come in and out, someone that's kind of gonna give you advice or want what's best for you, but they're also fleeting. Does that make sense? Like they're going to be like, yeah, you should do this, and then like, let's do this together, for example, like let's do this together, and then they're just gonna be gone, right? And then the Hermit is a card of self-isolation, reflection, going within, right? The advice that's coming through with this is that do not let someone else, fleeting energy, right, affect the main goal of what you have. Does that make sense? So when the opportunity, which I definitely see an opportunity coming up, right, because it's going to present itself, and you have people that are going to naturally appear in your life in a new chapter, a new opportunity, do not let it burden you when people are fleeting. Like people that, you know, you can get along with them super well, but then they're just not shady. They're not coming across as shady. They're coming across as like super passionate, but they're not going to pull through. You know what makes sense?
Yeah.
Like you really have yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what you have to keep going. So now I just want to clarify who the King of Pentacles is. By that, I'm just asking to see like, you know what I mean? Is this your energy? Is this someone else? I'm picking up this is someone else. So who's this King of Pentacles?
I'm not sure who it is yet.
Okay. Well, I'll just get a few more.
Is that weird that I don't know who?
No, it's completely fine. Oh, that's what I'm trying to clarify. Maybe you can keep this in mind in future.
Yeah.
Okay. So the King of Pentacles is... Yeah, okay. This is definitely not you.
But the card you just asked me about, that's about like safety, security.
The King of Pentacles?
The King of Pentacles.
Yeah, it's the King of Pentacles. If it is, like I said, if it is another person, which is coming across now, it is.
Yeah.
It's someone that does bring you the safety and stability.
Okay.
And this person's coming in, like, this person's, usually it could be like an older figure. It's an older man. Older, like not an immature individual at all, like super stable, like has like financially bellissimo, like everything's great, you know what I mean? You wouldn't have to ever worry about security and stability. This person comes across as not someone that's very emotional, like they're not very like a sensitive person, but they're just like, you can always rely on this person. Does that make sense? Financial abundance, secure, etc. The person that this energy is coming through is not someone that has entered your orbit yet. There's someone keeping tabs on you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Not in a creepy way. So this person is like watching you like on socials. Do you know what I mean? Like you're on their radar, but they're not on your radar.
Because I don't know who they are yet.
No, they haven't come forward yet. They're in the Two of Pentacles, so they're like indecisive. No, they're not an indecisive person. They're not sure exactly how to approach you in this given moment in time. Does that make sense? But they will. Like what the cards are saying is that there is going to be an approach coming, but it just hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
Okay? So, which is exciting. Nothing I've pulled so far is...
Where are you? Let's go.
Yalla.
Yalla, habibi.
Come to Dubai. Maybe you need to go to Dubai and... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let me just pull out general advice for you.
Why does the energy so change when the cards get open? Like, it's so like... No, in a good way, not in a bad way.
And like I told you, I would tell you, I'm honest, like if something came up that's, you know, like...
Yeah.
Nothing's negative, but if something coming out that's kind of heavy, I would tell you. So what's the advice for this year? See, this card, the advice coming out is heavy, like straight, like very, like, it's intense, this energy.
That's coming out right now?
Yeah, the advice for you. Yeah, it's... This is interesting. So I'm not just saying that for like theatrics. So tens in any suits, like swords, whatever, represents endings, or not endings, like the climax of something. You know what I mean? Okay, ace, 2, 3, 10 is before it gets to the suits, before it gets to jacks, queens, right? So a 10 of swords, it's a pretty morbid looking card. Okay, I'll explain to this in a second. So this is for your advice, right? 10 of swords represents an ending. Okay, it's like something is dead and gone, like something that's completely done. Okay, I'll tell you what the advice is, but we pull this in the context of what is the advice, so it's not negative in that sense.
Okay.
7, I'm just explaining to you like my thought process before I explain the general thing. 7 of Wands is someone that's kind of like king of the hill. Do you see that? Like, you know, everyone's kind of wants to push you off the hill. You're
7's
fighting.
always been my number.
Yeah, it's a center card, which is interesting. 10 of Wands, again, it's a wand. Wands are passion, energy, doing, action based. 10 of Wands, you see him very burdened, like he's holding too much. Does that make sense? So what is the advice? The advice is things that are dead and do not serve you, like energies from your past, people, things, previous endeavors, anything that has been concluded, okay, needs to be left there. And what I mean by that is you're the type of person in this sense where it's like you're trying to prove yourself. Is it to yourself or I think just to yourself that you can do this, and there's a lot against you. Do you know what I mean? The odds are against you in this regard. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not an easy route, whatever route you're gonna take, and whatever route you're taking. I don't really know you obviously that well, right?
Yeah.
The 10 of Wands is again, so you have the 10 of Swords, which is like complete ending or something. 7 of Wands is like you're trying to fight and prove yourself on this mountain, on this hill. Then you have the 10 of Wands, which is you're holding too much burden. Does that make sense? So the advice here is simple, is that what's dead and gone needs to be dead and gone. Don't keep carrying it with you to the next step, because all it's going to do is slow you down in the process.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And you might not be very aware of these dead and like gone things. Like, you know how we were just talking about like, star signs? You were saying like when something's dead. That's true in a relationship aspect, but it doesn't have to be a relationship. It's your own self. You might be carrying guilt or, you know, things from your past, things that didn't work. Let's say you did, I don't know what you've done in the past, like apart from this podcast, which is you know, going great, but like, let's say you tried to do something else and it didn't work, right? You have this thing in the back of your head like, okay, well, I need to be cautious about this. If I did this, it could have happened differently. That type of stuff, you might not think about it all the time, but it's sitting there in the back.
That's
like,
true.
It's like when you go to do something similar, you'll be like, oh, but it didn't work like last time. No, it could work. You're a very different person than you were last time.
Well, that's literally my thoughts. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I think that's the advice coming through for you. But yeah, do you have any questions you want to ask us specifically?
No, I think I feel like it's very on point.
Well, yeah.
You're like, I fucking hope so.
I'm like,
well, no, like obviously not everything happened,
exactly.
or like it really depends on who the characters are in this story. But yeah,
just kind of like I think with you, it's a lot of mental.
it is.
It's not about. I'm not seeing like I told you. If I saw other people like malice energies or someone like kind of persuading you against, I didn't see that. You're very strong-willed. Like there is not much influence on other people.
Yeah.
You take advice from other people, but you don't let it govern your decision. Is your decision.
That's
I see
true.
that.
Yeah.
Very clearly.
Facts.
What I'm seeing here is your own self. Like the less you carry with you to the next step, the next opportunity that's going to come forward, which is what we saw the first part, the more easier the transition is, but also the more you're going to excel in it, right? I'm not saying don't learn from your mistakes. Definitely learn from them, but that's what you've done. You've learned from the mistakes. So don't get to that next pit stop and be like, well, last time it didn't happen. Well, last time didn't happen because it was a very different situation, very different time.
I think I know what this is all about. So
I don't, but yeah. Hopefully makes sense. Yeah? So yeah, it's honestly pretty chill energy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I love this.
Woo! Woo! Let me know about that and that person that's stalking you when it happens.
Yeah, I would love to know also.
When it happens, if I'm expecting a DM, like Zein, he's a rich Arab guy in Dubai. I'm packing my bags, I'm moving. Nah.
We'll see. Well, I'm definitely going to keep in touch with you. I'm going to let you know.
Yeah.
But, wow, we could really talk for some time.
Yeah, I've noticed we just talk.
We just talk.
No, it's
You're
great.
like actually the first interview I do where I don't have any topics written down.
But I think it's just like...
It's like
super
nice. It's
conversational.
very
I
conversational,
love
very
that.
chill. And actually, what it's making me feel is that I need to do that a lot more in my other episodes. So...
Brilliant. Like you said, like you can have like the key points and then just let freestyle, because you've done this now for a while, right?
I think what I struggle with the most is most of my income comes from Snapchat, and sometimes when you're trying to say things or do things for the clicks, you go against your own will.
I get you.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel like I'm like, but is this me really though? So I'm like hard on myself.
But the thing is that I feel like you've also built, like you've done this now for so long, right?
Yeah.
That maybe try and like lean on your experience now. Like like we just did right now, right? Like the questions we bounced, like you bounced on me was super thoughtful. They weren't even like, each question was like extremely like thought out. Like I would not have known that you did not have this planned out. Does that make sense? Like it comes across like you've had this like
Thank you.
out. And I think this is a testimony to like experience. The more experienced you are, the more you're able to read the person that you're having and kind of gauge what you're going to ask next.
Yeah.
Right? And perhaps try that. Yes, like you said, you get most of like the income from Snapchat, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is like maybe taking that risk once, like try it with someone else. And if it ends up kicking off,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you want to make an income being you, right?
Regardless.
Your genuine, authentic self.
Yeah.
You can make an income not being you, but then that's not going to last long term, right?
For
And you want
sure.
to build something out of this. You don't, I assume, right?
Yeah.
So there's no better selling factor than selling yourself.
Yeah.
You got this.
I love you,
Woo!
Zein.
Nah, I
Oh
love you
my
too.
God. Thank you so
No
much
worries.
for coming on.
Anytime.
This was so fun. Where can they find you? Put your Instagram.
My Instagram, like
Yeah.
Zein Amro.
Zein
What, do you want me to spell it?
Yeah, spell it.
Okay, so ZeinAmro, and then I guess there's like a TikTok, which is the same.
Okay. So DM him if you want to get a reading done. And yeah, this was such an amazing episode. I'm so happy you
No,
came.
anytime. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Oh my God. Thanks.
Anytime. I'm sweating
You.
like
Me
bricks.
too. I'm sweating.
The ex you keep coming back to.
We are done.